The Maestro Echoplex is regarded as one of the best guitar delays ever made. They currently go for over $500 on the used market, and they can be a pain in the butt to maintain. IK Multimedia recently had their crack at emulating the famed Echoplex sound with their new Echoplex plugin. Did they succeed? I was going to read a bunch of quotes from the internet that I got about how organic, warm, smooth, three-dimensional, atmospheric, alive, chimey, and other nice sounding adjectives people have used to describe the Echoplex. But instead, let's just listen to the darn thing. So I have on this track, by the way, if you're a YouTube employee, I do have permission to use this song and to use the rest of the music tracks on this video. So please stop saying I'm violating copyright infringement. Anyway, Amplitude 3 with basically it's an MXR Dynacomp Stompbox emulation, because I was told that this Echoplex Stompbox sounds better with a compressor before it. So there's nothing else on this plugin. Everything else is bypassed. And now let's listen to it without the Echoplex plugin on. So that is a Fender Stratocaster from, I believe, 1974 going into a direct box. And now we have the Echoplex plugin on. What I really like about this plugin is that it doesn't sound like a digital delay at all. And, you know, you can kind of emulate the way an analog delay sounds by using a low pass and high pass filter. But there's something in this plugin that has that analog tape sound along with the rest of, you know, the way a real Echoplex EP3 sounds. And it really sounds like a well-maintained EP3. From what I've heard, these things really sound noisy, but this one, you know, has that sound without it having all the nastiness that go along with having a real analog device, which is really nice. So let's just go over the controls. We have the input level, which simulates the solid-state preamp in the EP3 Echoplex, or Echoplex EP3, whatever, purist. And then we have our volume controls, which also act like a wet/dry ratio. And you set your input level by setting your meter to the in switch. And then I'll play this again. I like to just keep it in the green. When it starts to hit yellow, it kind of starts to sound a little bit nasty, at least for this song. So in the green, you're good. And then if you hit the out and adjust the volume knobs that way, that works. Onto the sustain, this basically is a feedback control, and it controls the amount of repeats that are in your echo, in your delay. And basically, anything above 6, or really sometimes 6, will get this thing to start feedbacking. So let's listen to that. Yeah, so you could use that as some kind of cool effect. And I will reset that to, I guess, 5. Next up, we have our time. Actually, what is this officially called? It's the time bar. And this is where we set either the delay time in milliseconds, or if we have our BPM switch up, our tempo switch on, it changes to notes, which is a cool feature. I'm not sure if the original Echoplex, well, I guess I couldn't have that. Never mind. I was about to say, I don't think the original Echoplex has a note setting, and I highly doubt it does. It's not like you have a MIDI control going into the thing. I believe the Echoplex EP3 came out in the early 70s, so nah, MIDI wasn't really around back then. Anyway, yeah, it's very useful to have a tempo feature because it's much easier to blend a delay when you use note fractions, basically. But either way, milliseconds or note fractions, it works for me. And we also have some hidden controls. Oh, wait a minute, the mode switch. Now, this is cool. In stereo mode, your delay time is the same for both the left and right channel. But if you have it in either A or B mode, now the main thing is when you hit it to A mode, you can change this, and then B mode, see how that went to 389? And now A is 627. Well, either A or B, the channels are independent, and you can get more flexibility that way. And in stereo mode, I believe it plays off the A switch. And now we have our hidden... Oh wait, I still haven't got to that. The echo switch is the master bypass. And then we also have... I already went through that, the meter in and out. Reset over here. I hate that button sometimes because you hit it and you're like... But you can always undo it. Here, finally. You click the Echoplex logo, and it reveals some more controls. First, we have our record level right over here. This is where it's a little bit harder to read, at least on my screen. But the record level basically sets the... basically, it's where your analog tape saturation begins. So the higher that this is set, the more apparent that analog tape saturation is. And then we have our tape wear pot over here. And it simulates how old your tape cartridge is if you had a real Echoplex. Again, the higher this setting is, the more wear it on your tape. So the older the tape, the higher the number. The lower the number, the newer the tape cartridge. Wow and Flutter. If you've ever heard about tape machine alignment, this is basically what this controls. The more out of alignment it is, the higher the number. And the more out of alignment it is, the more problems you have with pitch and speed messing things up, which you might want. It's kind of a neat little effect. I like it. And then finally we have our noise control. If you want that mechanical noise that I was talking about earlier, put it to 10. Actually, I'll hit play and see what happens. So yeah, there we go. We got some hum going on now. And if you don't want any, hit it to 0. Okay, so let's listen to some more audio. First, I have a Marshall amp simulation. I believe it's JCM 800. And first, I'm going to turn the Echoplex off. And now it's on. So it adds a little bit of dimension, a little bit of room into that sound. Actually doesn't sound too bad. And then finally I want to play, this is a vocal / acoustic guitar. I don't think I even really mixed it. This is just a straight raw track with the Echoplex on and off.
This song's for your best friend.
Intentionally recorded lo-fi in a dead room. And now this is with the Echoplex on.
This song's for your best friend. Oh, where's your congregation gone? You venture on alone, where no one listens when you're preaching all you think you know. The ship came in and left you void of purpose on the shore.
It's kind of interesting how that adds some polish to a otherwise ugly sounding track. Just by adding a little bit of tape delay. I wouldn't say it sounds like a finished track, but you can hear the difference between the two is easily apparent, besides the volume increase. The only thing I don't like about this is that I really, really, really wish IK could integrate this into Amplitude's stomp box section where it belongs, so I don't have to have a copy of Amplitude 3 open and then this, and then another copy of Amplitude 3. Because really, even though you can use this on like vocals, keyboard, different things, it's really made for the guitar. And I know that they have a Echoplex type plugin, but it's not as flexible as this new version. So I really, really hope there's a way for them to put this in a stomp box form. At least for us to put this in, to have it in Amplitude. And besides that, I don't really have any other problems with it. I like the way that it doesn't step on the dry track, by itself. This is what it sounds like by itself.
This song's for your best friend.
Add the dry track.
This song's for your best friend.
And really, that's why analog delay blends better. It's because it has a lower fidelity, and then as the delay tails keep getting added, it's even lower fidelity. Really, that's what makes it sound so good. That's, easier said than done to emulate, but that's what's going on. Is literally the tape is re-recording something that was already taped. And if you're familiar with the way tapes work, like VHS tapes or anything like that, the more generations you have of tape, the lower the quality. And that's how these old analog delays worked. And they had a little bit of magic to them that this plugin aims to emulate, and I think they did a pretty darn good job. Now, I don't know what a real Echoplex sounds like. However, a friend of mine does own a real Echoplex stomp box, or I don't know if you would call it a stomp box, but he owns a real Maestro Echoplex. And hopefully in the next month or two, I can have a shootout with this plugin and the real Echoplex. But for now, I like what this effect can do for mixes. I like what it can do for guitars. So I would recommend it, especially if you're new to the delay market. You don't really have any delay plugins. This is a really good one to start out with. And if you're a guitar player and you don't own an Echoplex or a analog delay stomp box, this is a great little addition to have for when you're mixing, because it is, would you call it the holy grail of guitar delay? I would probably say so. Maybe there's one other company that's better, but nothing anywhere before 1990 was there a better analog delay from my understanding. So, check it out. You can get a 3-day trial at ikmultimedia.com, and this plugin is approximately $60. But if they have a credit system going with the custom shop now. So if you buy more credits, it's less than $60, but it's approximately $60 if you get the lowest amount of credits. So anyway, this has been Adam for RealHomeRecording.com. See you in the next video.